I am a propaganda baby from the 70s and the 80s, brought up on loads of money in the back of a Mercedes, bolly bubbles bursting in a glass of pink champagne. They said we ruled Britannia and Britannia ruled the waves. Thatcher was my mother, Maxwell was my brother. They told me bedtime stories as they fiddled with each other. Jimmy Savile was my babysitter, helped of course by Gary Glitter. Forgive me if I'm feeling bitter. Being unable to see beyond the tips of my own eyelashes, I was rocked and I was rolled in a cradle of wrong, lulled into a false sense of security by the BBC. I listened to the lullaby that they sung. Tucked under sheets of tabloid, being swaddled by the sun, spoon-fed the lies, the rhetoric, we swallowed what was done. Bolly bubbles bursting in a glass of pink champagne. They said we ruled Britannia, but Britannia ruled our brains. Thatcher was my mother, Murdoch is my brother. They told me bedtime stories as they fiddled with each other. Jimmy Savile was my babysitter, helped of course by Gary Glitter. Forgive me if I'm feeling bitter. I am a propaganda baby of the 70s and the 80s. I was brought up in blocks of concrete, self-contained for our own safety. Bolly bubbles bursting in a glass of pink champagne. They said, be proud, Britannia, but Britannia knew no shame.
Welcome. Here we are on London Road Studios, and with us is the magnificent Cherry Scott. Hello, Cherry.
Hello, Jay.
How are you
for
doing?
inviting me here. I'm
You're
very
most
well,
welcome.
thank you. Very well.
Yeah. So, let us tell us a bit about your career in poetry.
Okay, yeah. I suppose really, I've been writing poetry since I was a little girl, so about 10 years old, I think was the first one. First poem I ever wrote was to impress a boy.
Right.
You know, if you've got this skill, you've got to use it for love, I think. Don't you agree? So, yeah, and I thought if I wrote this poem and made him laugh, he might go out with me. 10 years old this was. And that's exactly what happened. I wrote the poem, made him laugh, and yeah, he went out with me on holiday.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, but
there's connotations of Valentine's Day and that's with the poetry. And...
Yeah, I think so. But I think it's like using that funny kind of twisting the towel work that I went on to write and still continue to write today, where I kind of like catch people unawares. They don't expect necessarily the ending to some of my poetry that they get.
Yeah, super.
Yeah, keep them on their toes.
Yeah, which is very much your style, isn't it?
Yeah.
You bring the humour to the fore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I like I said, I like the audience not to know what's coming next.
Yeah.
I like to do
Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected, absolutely.
Yeah.
And kind of like I like to cover subjects that are difficult to talk about. So I can go from really like heavy political subjects to just total humour where I just make people laugh constantly. But yeah, there's not many subjects that I don't cover with my poetry. Yeah, nothing scares me.
Superb. So you don't have a specific style, it's just all very varied.
If I've got a style, it's very much kind of the common touch. You know, so whatever I'm going to be performing or my poetry is about, someone will relate to it and understand it and kind of connect with the work, which is what I really enjoy.
It's very observational though, isn't it?
Yeah, really
observational study within your approach.
I think it's I like the simplicity in the simple things in life.
Yeah.
So, and kind of like, I think it's marvellous sometimes to be mundane as well. And from the everyday occurrences of life, yeah, I will often get poetry out of it, yeah.
Yeah, do you find that a lot of poetry is stereotyped in that people will say, oh, that's melancholy, I don't want to go and get depressed tonight by coming along to watch the poetry?
Yeah, I do.
You find that a lot?
Yeah, I think you kind of like...
And you break that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely break that kind of mould, that stereotypical approach to poetry being boring or bringing you down. Or too twee, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, I like to talk about stuff that can really put visuals in your mind so that when you're listening to my poetry, you see the poetry as well.
And it does do that. It does project
that is the kind of feedback.
For the listener, the watcher, definitely.
Yeah, that's the feedback I'm getting.
You always got that wonderful energy, you know, when you perform.
Thank you very much. I do try that as well, Try and blast them with my energy and my vibe. Yeah. And ultimately, I think for any performance poet, it's about the captivation. So if you can captivate that audience, if you can command that attention, then it doesn't matter how loud the pub was when you started performing. When it goes quiet, that is the ultimate kind of accolade for a poet, to just shut everyone up. Yeah.
So let me ask you a bit about, you know, because you do a lot of touring, don't you? Tour around quite a bit.
I have done.
So you've been to France, you've been to Holland.
Yeah, and Holland, and we're hoping to be going to Berlin at the end of the year as well.
Wonderful. Love Berlin.
Yeah, but Paris was, to be performing in Paris was amazing. I'd never been there before, so the whole experience was great, and the Parisians just love poetry. They love the poets, you know, so you feel kind of like a bit special. And just beautiful people. And again,
language of love.
Language of love, and I was a little bit concerned at first, because I thought, oh, well, I'm going to be performing in English, so, you know, the French are just going to go, who is she? But I was reassured that most French people speak English enough to understand my work, and that's what happened. And they was all like, bravo, bravo.
Excellent.
So happy days.
So here, like in Essex, where would you say, you know, is like your main haunt?
My main haunt. Well, I'm finding that there's open mics on a Monday night. Dave Woodcock one's down the Railway Hotel.
You did a brilliant collaboration with Dave, didn't you?
Oh yeah, he's always been, you know, just such an honour to work with him, because he's like this musical chameleon, you know, and he can just change it, doesn't he? He changes his, doesn't matter what you need him to play or what instrument. Or,
it's always beautifully animated, isn't he, up there when he's doing his thing?
Gyrating hips, always good with the crowd. So he does an open mic on a Monday night, and also I've recently started to visit the Tuesday night open mics at the Royal Hotel. That I know you guys are all involved in as well. And I'm basically approaching these nights as a workout, like a poetry gym.
Yes, I saw in your post. That's what you wrote,
so I'm kind of going down there to keep myself like in touch with being on the floor and performing in between festival circuits or other bigger performances. I use the open mic to keep my skill honed, I suppose, really.
Sounds like a good marketing strategy.
It is. So, if you want to come and see me work out in the gym, in like a poetry gym, then you come down to these nights, because that's where I do my new material, I try out new stuff, and just really like relax more than anything. So it's a nice performance to see. And the Dave Woodcock one that you've got on film, that was like an open mic workout for me. Yeah. Nice and relaxed. I don't care.
No. Do you want it laid back or do you want it full on?
Oh, fuck it. Let's go full on. Just as his plans all fitted neat,
and life smelled good and tasted sweet. Along came the new century Asbo beat, a sinister step to move his feet. The ballroom in which he danced around, the seaside cotch of Southend town, where of late a political frown had come to stay and settle down on the faces in the places where the candy floss grows. In the arcade see the cascade of the gambling flow, in casinos like albinos in some freak seaside show, all dancing to the beat of the British Asbo. And then one night, the moon so bright, the air smelling of sugar donuts, as teenage tough nuts, numbed by alcohol, fight beneath arcade light. The old Bill sit tight and foxtrot tango throughout the night. Meanwhile, scantily clad ladies catfighting the daisies, long legs like stems beneath petal hems, revealing blossoms of thong as a 20 crowd strong, all screeching like seagulls, egging them on as the high heel kicks in, tearing pigskin. Nothing is heard above the Asbo. Oi, oi, how's it going then? You enjoying yourself tonight? Just as the blade, it missed his eye. He knew he was too young to die, especially outside the chicken fry, with pissed up hunters passing by. The violence which had chosen him had ghost train eyes and greasy skin, came up from London to return the scar. Revenge unravelled will travel far. He's regretting what he's getting, 'cause he knows it's his fault. It will stay in once it's paid in. All this karma he has bought. It's the causes in the pauses that you make when you're caught that colour the outcome of the lesson that's taught.
Yeah, the British Asbo beat, and the piece was actually inspired by a headline in a local paper, and it said something about the girls were standing in daisies. There'd been some kind of altercation in Southend,
right,
and that involved all these girls fighting, and it was just a particular line about the daisies, and I come up with long legs like stems beneath petal hems.
Oh, it's lovely. Just that one, like,
yeah,
can
so
inspire
just from
a whole,
that kind of daisy,
whole track,
and then from there it just grew and grew and grew.
Excellent.
And turned into a piece that is very much a reflection of Southend-on-Sea.
So where did the musical maestro Dave Woodcock come into play then?
Yeah, he's always been really supportive of me as an open micer, and I think he's with everyone. And again, it's one of his skills that he does that and encourages people to get up and have a go.
Well, he does with Joe Lamb. They do the open mic.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Royal,
the same thing on at the Royal Hotel as well. It's that real encouragement to get up and do things. Absolutely. And so I would be supporting his night and coming down, doing my poetry, and it literally just a jam. So he just started playing a little tune, and then from there it grew into a whole piece.
Natural chemistry there, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is easy though to have like natural chemistry. Dirty Captain Scott is myself, Kelly Skanks, she's a drummer, rock and roll royalty, I like to call her, and the brilliant Captain's daughter, which is Victoria McCormick, who's actually in Paris at the moment. So that's another reason why I was out there.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and we got together and we mixed Tori's singing voice and her musical playing guitar, Kel's Gahan beat, and of course me on the poetry, and we become Dirty Captain Scott.
Yeah, super.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's one of my favourite collaborations that I do, yeah.
Yeah. No, you've known her for so long, haven't you?
Yeah. Again, it's just that element of being in the right place at the right time and just jamming. I think, you know, a lot of musicians and poets really do encourage people to jam with other artists, because from there you can get this amazing pieces of work that come out and you can develop them on until they're completed for performance.
Absolutely. So it's interesting how you just open it all up, you know, like with musicians, you work with musicians.
Yeah, I do.
You work with other writers? Or is it,
I worked with Almo Lazarus.
Yes. Okay.
And he's a fellow poet who's fantastic on the circuit as well.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah, really strong poet.
Political.
Yeah, very political,
stuff.
educational as well. And he approached me and asked if I'd be interested in a call and response poem. And he basically had a piece already written, which he then performed for me and gave to me. And that was the call, so to say, and then I wrote the response to that. And it was really good piece.
Very powerful.
It's a really good piece.
Very up to date.
Yeah,
with what's
very
going on.
contemporary. Yeah, very.
You know,
very
the tragedy
contemporary.
of the political
Everything, and then they
climate at the moment.
Yeah, everything. It's all involved in that, and do you know? I can't remember what it's called. I don't even know if it's got a title. Oh, Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill, and and they filmed it as well, and we turned it into this kind of like this piece, this little film.
Yeah.
And we filmed it down the Railway Hotel, and it was brilliant.
Upstairs.
I really enjoyed it, and so it was my first call and response piece, and I quite like doing them. Yeah, really good. So hopefully that's going to go. I know it's running somewhere. I don't know, you know, I'll have to wait for the the comeback from it, but I think it's going to be really positive. Dressed up metrosexually, do you know what that's telling me? That's telling me exactly where you come from and what you drive like in your flash car. Now, we all know that Essex boys, they love the clothes, they love the toys, especially the ones they're very fond of. The ones they use fast and play with hard. But geezer boy, you have thrown your toy completely out of the pram if you believe beneath the sheets of strangers love is found. These Essex girls with their Charlie curls and their River Island debit will stash away what you will pay, but I tell you you're in credit. And when no doubt you will find out, perform a quick strip tease with bedroom eyes that hypnotise and bring you to your knees, and it will not matter how high your quiff, how broad your shoulder, how slim your hip, how new your money or old the game if you don't evolve or ever change. Propped up in bars of transient gain, repeating patterns time again. Listen, dude, we shall all be screwed if we follow in your step. For I believe these tiny seeds of doubt and disrespect can only serve to perpetrate the myth that we neglect. The young, the old, the innocent, too vulnerable to forget. When every day in front of me great leaps of faith and bravery are proof enough that there must be a way to snatch society back out of arms of weaponry, back into minds of equity, back into hearts of unity, of freedom and equality. So Joe, Johnny, Jack the lad, Jack of fugs, Jack on drugs, Jack of clubs. How about being Jack of love? For just one moment in your life, Change the heavy, make it light. No wrong is ever harmed by right. So be the bigger man tonight. Whether on the lash or on the sniff, there's better songs to sing than this. Yeah.
Well, you've had quite a bit of feedback already from it, haven't you?
Yeah, it's getting lots of hits on the YouTube, which is nice. And people have really enjoyed it when they've seen the film. And also, when I perform live, I just do my piece. I perform the piece that I wrote, and I've called that Essex Land. And I get really good feedback from it. Yeah, really good feedback.
Because I know he's done stuff, hasn't he, on Channel 4 and...
Yeah. He's really, really kind of like pushing the boundaries with poetry. So to be working with him now, for me, is perfect.
And I think, you know, talking of Channel 4, I think you would be very suitable for Channel 4.
I think
no
I've got to
boundaries,
agree with you.
You know, so you would slot in quite nicely there, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Because it can be quite risky, can't it? Risque, sorry.
It can be very risque, it really can. And I think also just having the poetry, again, going back to what we was earlier talking about, you know, people tend to go, oh, poetry, schmoetry, and you get quite a negative kind of reaction to it.
Massively.
Yeah.
But what do you find, you know, they've got this stupid sort of idea that it's this, that and the other, you know, all the poets are in there wearing scarves.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Bit of paisley. I do wear a bit of paisley.
Oh, do you? Oh, sorry.
It's all right. I don't wear scarves, I wear cravats.
So
paisley
you were
cravats.
right. You were right.
Paisley cravats, yeah.
The
But they have to be,
dusty.
yeah. I do try to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, it varies. It varies. If I'm doing a collaboration, I try and be that kind of look, and we share the same kind of look. Again, you know, I think when you're a performance poet, it is something you're going to stand in front of your mirror and you're going to say, what do I look like, you know? Because if you're not feeling confident in what you're wearing, then that's going to have an impact on stage. Yeah. So it's all important how we look.
Yes.
Really important.
It does come into it somewhere.
Yeah, and no scarves for me, but
No scarves.
Paisley
Yeah.
cravat. And Pringle jumpers.
No.
Them as well.
That's just you, isn't it? That's how
it's
you
my
like
style,
to dress.
regardless.
It's not because you're a poet you dress like that.
No, I'm not at all. I just constantly look like a poet, I think, because when I was in Paris, we was going around the marketplace where all the artists are doing their stuff. And they're going, oh, you artiste, you know, talking to people. I was going, no, I'm just a poet. And they go, oh, poet. And they were so, like, excited and come over. I felt like a little celebrity.
Yeah.
I like Southend when you're just a nobody in Southend. But that's good because it helps you, drives you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I think the railway is probably one of your most famous haunts locally, isn't it?
I would definitely say the Railway Hotel would be a place that has always welcomed me as a performance poet and has always gave me the opportunity to perform because it's very music dominated, isn't it, the Railway Hotel? You get loads of different musicians and bands, and so it was nice. I felt it was a real kind of like honour, really, that they started to introduce me in with the musicians. Because, it's not usually done, so it's nice. But I think it's just because I'm handy to put on in between changeovers. I'm not saying. It's like, kind of like to be put on, because as a poet, it's just you. There's no real, and your voice. So we're quite flexible for programmers. I think they like the poets. Well, they like me anyway. Because I just jump on.
Well, your name rings out all the way down London Road.
All the way down.
We hear Cherry Scott. Yeah. The Echo.
The Echo. The Echo's there. So for me, the Railway's always been fantastically supportive of myself. And they gave me the opportunity to support John Cooper Clarke, you know.
Oh, fantastic.
Amazing poet, you know,
Well, you're on a par with him, aren't you?
Thank you very much. Oh, you're really good. I like your interview style. It's really nice. You should be on Channel 4.
Oh, right, put me on Channel 4,
Yeah, I did find
It's the only
that,
one I'd like to go on,
it's the
actually.
only one.
Yeah.
It's the only one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, very much with Cooper Clarke. I was put on to warm up the audience, to get them all going.
Yeah.
You know, I had someone come up to me afterwards say, "Oh, so you tour with Cooper Clarke?" And I went, "No, just today." And this person said, "Oh, you sound like you go with him everywhere." So I think they really kind of like got the vibe of my poetry, and yeah, put it with him easy.
Yeah,
he was
wow.
great. He was great to watch as well.
Yeah.
But I worked really, really hard, and yeah, I took some CDs down at the last minute to sell, and just before I arrived, my little ego went, "Oh, who's going to buy your work? Who's going to buy your CD? You've got John Cooper Clarke there. He's going to have all his merchandise. No one's going to be buying your silly little CD." And I nearly left them behind. And I thought,
But
no, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. And I
You were
took
wrong
a-
to think
Yeah,
that.
I took
Yeah.
100 of them down there, and I sold 100. Yeah, I
Yeah.
sold out because John Cooper Clarke didn't bring any merchandise.
Oh, it didn't?
Like, yeah.
No, but that might not be the case.
No,
you know, it might
I know.
Be, you
Yeah,
we'll
oh,
see.
thank you.
Come
yeah,
on.
and I did sell
Give
out.
yourself
Yeah.
the credit you deserve.
Oh,
you know?
thank you. But
No,
yeah,
very good.
maybe so. I come across quite popular.
Yeah.
And like I said, the proof was in the pudding. And I went home with an empty case.
So let's get on to the risque material.
Oh,
then.
the risque material, yes, yeah. I was just kind of like saying that a lot of my work is themed. So I do work on domestic violence, where all the poems will be themed.
Yeah.
On love, on comedy, and I do erotic poetry as well, yeah, the risque stuff. So I do kind of like blue, you know, like poetry where it'll make you laugh, but it's a bit naughty, using naughty words. And then I do the erotic stuff, which will make you feel naughty.
Yes.
After you've heard it.
It's a nice combination.
But that's quite a niche
Yeah.
market, so I'm still kind of like, I don't just rock up on a Friday night in a pub and start doing all my erotic stuff. No, because they will throw me out of the pub.
Yeah.
So it's quite niche, so I'm looking for a venue to
But I've never come
perform
across that.
such.
When I have seen you, you're just straight up there. You know,
Yeah.
you don't care. Just
No.
get on with it.
Get on with it, yeah, but
Yeah.
I do, there's a
Yeah.
lot of work I do hold
You
back.
get some looks, do you?
Yeah, just
What-
a little
What
bit.
sort of looks do you get?
Well,
Share that with the camera.
where they kind of go, or they go,
Looks like they're enjoying it actually. When you,
yeah,
You
they
pout.
do. I have been heckled though
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I've done my kind of like my blue comedy. A few people walked out in disgust.
How do you deal with the hecklers?
I just plough on.
There.
I just ignore them. Although I do remember once many years ago I got heckled at an open mic night in Southend, and this dude, he said, I can't even remember what he said, but he shouts something out at me, and the crowd in the open mic absolutely turned on him, and they made him get up on stage with me and apologise to me. I know. I couldn't believe it. And he had to apologise, otherwise they weren't going to let him out of the pub. And he went,
He was down on his knees.
Yeah,
Please forgive me.
Yeah, he goes,
Yeah.
I'm really, really sorry. I was going, it's okay.
I like that. I like to
Yeah,
hear that
so-
because they don't normally do
Yeah,
that.
no, they don't. But
Continue.
But as a rule, I think people tend to be a little bit, think better of it than heckling someone like me,
Yeah.
because we're just like turn our
You can
steely
fight-
gaze.
yeah, you can
and
fire
now you've
back
got
all
my
right.
attention.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't want my attention.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so hecklers as a rule, no.
Yeah.
No, as a rule, I don't get them. They wouldn't dare.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about, your inspirations.
Oh, okay.
Who really inspires you, poet-wise?
Poet-wise, kind of like, I used to be a producer with a collective called Sundown, and we was around from about 2002 to about, I think it was 12 or 13, and you'll still get a few Sundown nights in Southend, still happening today, but I'm not involved in it anymore. I've decided to focus on my solo. But at the time, as a producer and as a programmer, we was constantly searching for new material, new acts, new poets.
Yeah.
And, you know, we was really, really lucky to put on Kate Tempest when she first starts to perform, Scroobius Pip. So, of course, these John Hegley was obviously, he was established, but he was another one we put on. But I suppose if I was going to be inspired by anyone, definitely Tempest. I like what she has to say and how she's saying it. And because she saw me perform back in the day, my piece on domestic violence called On Having More Sense. And she came up to me afterwards and she said...
So I don't know about what's her...
Well, Kate Tempest.
Oh, Kate Tempest, sorry, yes, I do know, yeah.
Got confused, yeah. Kate Tempest, who's now like exploded all over the place in present day, 2017. But back in the day, in the early kind of like millennium, we was putting her on. She was, you know, just starting out on her career. And
And where was that? Was that in London?
That was
She's from London.
No, these were, she's based in London. No,
Yeah.
she came to Southend and we put our nights on in Southend at the Royal Hotel, actually, before it all got done up. And and she said to me that she really enjoyed my work and that
Well, you're on the same sort of level of thinking.
Really. And
politically.
All different ways with Tempest, and that she liked what I was doing and I had something to say and to carry on doing it. And to know how famous in the poetry world, in the spoken word world, Tempest is, what a great compliment to get from someone so talented.
Very powerful.
So when I feel like giving up,
I
think about Tempest.
Yeah.
And I think I can do this. She believes in me.
Yeah.
So I would say that, but for many years, no, I wouldn't read any poetry. I don't want to know about any poets. I don't want to know what you're saying, what you're speaking, what your style is. I was very, very refused to be influenced in any way, shape or form
just your
by
own,
any other poet.
Okay,
because I felt that I didn't want people to say, "Oh, you sound like this poet," or
Yeah,
"You're
which
like
is
that poet." I wanted to
very
just
common,
be Cherry
isn't it?
Scott.
Anything you do creatively, you're always compared to someone, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and that's fine. That's, it's really, really good. But in my own heart, I know it's pure. So I really kind of like changed my attitude, if I'm honest, kind of like last 5 years, where I will listen and be inspired by other poets now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm secure enough in my own work that I know that I'm producing my own stuff that's original and isn't in any way influenced by anyone.
Yeah. So when did you start writing? What age was it?
I was about, probably about 10, I
10.
can imagine. That's the earliest age.
And what was that, the spark?
I've always loved English,
Right.
absolutely, and reading. My family read a lot, all my family reads.
Right.
And, English and writing. I really enjoyed writing. I was very good at it as well. We had a really strict teacher, Mr. Scriven, I think his name was, and he was horrible to everyone. And he taught handwriting, joined up writing. And I was really good at it, and I was his star pupil. And he hated everyone apart from me.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I could write so beautifully. Yeah, so, and I still do that now. Writing-wise, I write every day. Not necessarily a completed piece. If I am working on a particular piece that's been kicked off, that can take anything up to kind of like 2 to 3 months to finish, and that I'll be working on that every day. I write lines. If something's inspired me while I'm out, I'll put a little line in my mobile, and then from that one line, a whole piece will grow. But
which you mentioned earlier, didn't you? The ASBO.
Yeah. So I do tend to take, my approach is this. One line will be the start of a piece. And then if you think symbolically now, okay, and then I kind of, from that one line, I grow the scaffolding. I suppose. That goes up around the piece. Remember, we're thinking symbolically, metaphor here. And then once everything's been edited and changed around and cut up and, you know, how I like it, I take the scaffolding down and voila, I have a mansion. That's a poet, you know, a poem. And that's kind of like how I work with it. So, and also with all my books, if you look at all my writing books, for some reason, I start at the back, like a bit Japanesey, that, isn't it? Oh, yeah. And I work forward. Huh? Don't ask me why, but
interesting, but it works.
But it works, and that's the most important thing. So yeah, so I don't know if I do get a collection out or something or published, I might do my book back to front. Because it's about being niche, isn't it? When you're a poet, you've got to come up with something different. Otherwise, you're going to get lost within all the other talent that's out there. So I'm always trying to look for ways that's going to be different. And an upside down, back to front poetry book sounds fine. Yeah. Sounds like that will sell.
Indeed. Right.
So yeah, just write as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Where do you gig?
Where do I gig? Where you can find me? Well, obviously down the open mics when I do my workout. You'll find me on the festival circuit, which has been fantastic this year. So I think I've got a festival coming up in Lincolnshire at the end of September. And also, I think there's another festival in Devon as well. So really, I'm on Facebook. I tend to post up everything, Cherry Scott, and you'll get some kind of idea of what I'm doing. But I am going to have a website built because I do find that a lot of people say, you know, how can we get a hold of you in the cyber world? And I've been a little bit elusive, but I really want that to change. So yeah, and I've got I'm recording this week as well. I'm going in the studio and I'm doing my first collection of six poems.
Yeah, oh great.
Yeah.
Which are
going to be, I'm going to do Essex Land, I'm going to do Propaganda Baby, Estuary Fringe, I'm going to do The Rising Cost of Living. So this isn't a themed CD. I'm literally giving you lots of different kind of genres that I do.
So you just mentioned Estuary Fringe.
Yes. Estuary Fringe, Estuary Breeze.
Oh, right.
Although I did write it for the Estuary Fringe as well.
Right, well,
yeah,
that's what I was coming to. So
it.
dangerous poetry.
Fantastic. I mean, what a really great opportunity again.
It is, I've been there as well.
For local people and afar to come and do your poetry and to do it in a really friendly, safe environment that encourages you to want to get up and perform more. And for me, that's what dangerous poetry was all about. It was that alternative, you know, that it could be anyone and everyone.
So it was John Bully, wasn't it, originally? But now he's handed the baton.
Yeah,
is that right?
I think it's Sadie Davidson and Kat Howe.
And I went to that. It was really,
it was good.
It was such a amazing turnout.
Yeah,
so many people there.
Yeah, you do. You can get it. Yeah, I supported it for many years, and it always well turned out. So if you get the opportunity, great host. If you get the opportunity, if you are a poet and you want to give it a go.
When is the next one? Just plug that as we're on the...
I'm not sure.
October, late October, I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to...
Get down there.
Yeah, get down there and perform if you can. Yeah. Are you going to perform at the next
one?
Yeah.
I did last time.
Yeah. Very good. I think I was in Holland in the last one.
Yeah.
Having some jet set life.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Superb. So,
and the other one I'm going to perform is, I was going to do The Rising Cost of Living, which is a tribute to my mother and also to my family in general for all their love and care and looking after me.
So really beautifully poignant, you know.
Yeah, just a bit, you know, about my grandmother, my grandfather, and and about how family stories shape and family history shapes the way that we are sometimes. Yeah. So yeah. My mother wears 100 rings and takes good care of everything. Within her perfumed cloud I float, beneath the towel of her fur coat. I listen as she clears her throat and tells me of her London folk. Of all her friends and family, she likes to share her life with me. Her mother made 1,000 coats, chinchilla, mink, fox and stoat. Each drop of sweat in every stitch kept warm the greed of London's rich. And on the table she would lay her takings from the working day for all her friends and family, so they can breathe more easily. Her father lands 10,000 blows that black the eye and break the nose. For if he wins the wage to fight, he shall gamble it away tonight. But in the morning, as his wife sleeps into her room on quiet feet, he shall lay a present on her bed. Some things are better left unsaid. And so I write 1,000,000 words of all the stories I have heard. I place them down upon the page, return to them in my old age.
Lovely stuff. Cheers. Thank you.